Okay. Goodness gracious. This place is a mess. What is this? This place is a disaster. Well, I mean, that's what I get for using it as a storage closet. Where's the light switch? There we go. Okay, so I definitely need to clean up in here. I mean, well, I'm gonna have to if I want to film. But, yeah, so give me just a couple seconds. There we go. Ready to film. Welcome back. Hey guys, Rob here. Welcome back. It has been quite some time since I last posted a video, just under 3 years if I'm remembering correctly. But yeah, it's I decided I didn't really want to do YouTube as a career anymore, and so my motivation to make videos just kind of fell off. Though in the past couple of years, as I've worked on different props, costumes, or whatever projects, I have had moments where I've recorded some of that footage, or recorded footage of those projects with the intention of making a video out of it, but it would just always fall by the wayside. But now I want to do this as more of a hobby thing, less with a career mindset and more just as a thing I'm doing for fun. With that in mind, I'm making a couple changes. One, I changed the name from Glydal Tech to Glydal's Workshop, as you saw in the intro. And two, I'm going to be less strict about needing to do a set release schedule, about doing stuff on social media and whatnot. I just want to do this for fun, projects that I want to work on, and just have fun with it. Approach it from a more, I do this because I like doing it, not because I want to make a job out of this. So that's what I'm going to be doing with Glydal's Workshop. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. Hopefully it's as fun as it ever was. Hopefully more, because I get to do this a little bit more relaxed like. So what are we jumping back into today? Well, today I'm going to be doing an unboxing and review of a Fedora I purchased from a friend of mine, Mikey. He runs his Instagram is Mikey's Hobbies, and I'll link that down in the description. But he does wonderful work. He makes a lot of hats, and they look so good. I actually met him on Instagram when I was looking for a 4th Doctor Fedora hat for my Pensacon costume this past year. This is this hat there. I'm super happy with how it turned out. It needed to be a tall crown hat with a large brim. I think we decided on 4 3/4, maybe 4.5 inch brim. So pretty big, pretty floppy. It's a little big. My own fault. I sent him way wrong measurements. I don't know how I got those, but it's about a size too big, but with some spacers in there, though it's still a little bit loose, it works great for the costume. It helps give the hat a bit of a wonky look. I got it unbashed, and I just kind of did a rough bash in there with no steam or anything, just to kind of give it a kind of beaten in look, and I've really enjoyed how well this has worked for that costume. So I was happy with this hat, and that's what made me want to go to him for this next hat, which is a gray Clipper Fedora. The gray Clipper Fedora, notably in Raiders of the Lost Ark, was Indiana Jones's travel hat. You'll see it as he's boarding and sleeping on the plane, and you see it at the end of the movie when he's coming down the courtroom steps, I believe, with Marion. It's a wonderful hat. I've wanted it for quite some time, and Michael was kind enough to make one for me. It was really cool working with him on it. He and I went over a lot of details together. We got, he sent a brim, not a brim, a sweatband to me so I could fit it to my head and get him some correct measurements, so that way hopefully the hat fits a lot better. We talked about felt color, felt type, band colors, obviously sweatband color, the ribbon color, ribbon color, and then the sweatband color, as well as the lining color, and it's just how I wanted it bashed, how I wanted it to look, and turns, ribbon ties, like everything. He went into so much detail, and I could not be happier with the making process, and now we get to see the result of that here. So we're going to unbox it. I've got my litter opener, and just going to cut it open here because no special fanfare. I'm not expecting this to be overly, fancy packaging, because we actually talked about that as well. He asked how my AdVintage hat was, my other indie hat was packaged, and I told him it may have been some fancy thing, but I didn't really care because fancy packaging, while nice, ultimately gets thrown away. So he just packages, in some bubble wrap and a bag and some, I think there's a packing peanut or two in there, but it's just something to keep the hat safe, which is perfectly fine for me because I don't feel so bad about throwing out a plain package. But yes, let's open this up. So here's the hat, and this is the stuff there. So I'm going to toss that to the side, and let's pull this out. And there it is. Throw that bag to the side. This is the Clipper Fedora made for me by Michael Attella. This is a sweet looking hat. I absolutely love it. This is so smooth. The colors look amazing. This is exactly what I hoped for. You'll know if you know anything about the Clipper hat, and I'll throw some pictures up on screen here. The felt appears different colors depending on the light or scene you see it in. I really like the darker gray that you can see in some of these photos, as opposed to the lighter gray that some people use, and the lighter gray that was used in later Indiana Jones movies for his traveling hat there. So this is the Clipper Fedora I always wanted to get. You can see on the inside we have the white liner and a dark brown sweatband, which actually the dark brown sweatband is the same dark brown sweatband. It's actually that was used in my Tom Baker Fedora, which, fun fact, this sweatband was actually one he said he cut, and then it was too small for the measurements, so he cut a bigger one for my Tom Baker hat, which turns out, because I had given him measurements that were too big, this sweatband was almost the perfect size already. So that's pretty cool that I was able to get that original band used for this hat. So that's cool. Aside, we've got the pinch at the front. This is a tight front pinch to mimic the Raiders look, which I'm super happy with how that turned out. That's just the pinch, the front pinch, the top bash, that's a Raiders hat. I am so happy with how that looks, man. That's so beautiful. Oh. The ribbon is a vintage ribbon. It's black, as you can see there. Got the bow tied on the side. We didn't put the Raiders turn in the hat. Now, for those of you who don't know, the Raiders turn is the name given to Indy's fedora in Raiders of the Lost Ark. When he had it on his head, somehow inexplicably it got turned off center on his head and bashed that way, which gave it a unique swoop, which is really stinking cool for the standard fedora. But we didn't want it on the dress hat because we thought in-universe idea is that, of course, his adventuring hat would have gotten turned on his head and rebashed, and so it makes sense it would have that little wonky look. But the traveling hat we think would stay pristine as a travel dress hat sort of thing. So we kept it like this, but we did have the ribbon, as opposed to completely on the side. We have it peeking forward just a little bit, if you can see that there, to give it the impression, the idea, the hint of a turn, even though there's none actually there. So I'm super happy with how that turned out as well. But without further ado, let's try the hat on. And I knew this was gonna fit. I knew it was gonna fit because, again, he sent me the ribbon and I measured it and I got much better measurements. But that's a dang near perfect fit. That's amazing. If I shake my head, it's not going anywhere. That's super cool. Oh, and that's comfortable too. It fits well up here, right here. This is This is the top bash, and this is about the lowest point of the bash, and I'm pushing down and I'm feeling my head there. So my head sits in there just right. That sits exactly as I hoped it would. Oh, that is a wonderful hat. I love this. This feels great. Sorry, I'm not looking at the camera here. I'm looking at my view screen. I'm seeing the, this is super cool. I'm very happy with this. The felt is super soft, super smooth. I love it. I can't say enough about this hat. This is amazing. The fit is wonderful. The look is absolutely amazing. I am I am so happy. I'm so pleased with this. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate it. This is phenomenal work you've done here. As an aside, let's do a bit of a comparison between my Mikey's Hobbies hat and my AdVintage hat. My two Indiana Jones fedoras. Now, as you guys have seen before, my AdVintage hat is my standard Indy hat for my Indiana Jones costume. I did not purchase this with the Raiders turn, but I do kind of set it a little off center on my head a little bit to give it a bit of wonkiness. And I am quite happy with this. This fits very well. It fits about the same in there. Super cool. And so these hats sit on my head and fit very nicely. Some comparisons that I'm about to make real quick are going to be because one hat is older than the other. As you can see, this one is pristine brand new. You just saw me unbox it. And this one, you can see some of the sweat stains on the inside from just me sweating to the hat. So that is there, but you can tell this is definitely older. This has conformed a bit to my head a bit more, so the shape of the brim, round about there, or not the brim, the sweatband of the inside of the hat is a bit more conformed to my head shape. This one, it fits my head great, but I can definitely feel that it's a little looser on the sides and a bit more tight on the front and back. But again, that's something that over time, the more I wear this hat, the better it'll fit. So that is not a discernible difference between the two. One thing I do want to note about the AdVintage hat is clearly, until now, I have had trouble sizing my hats. So the AdVintage also has some leather spacers as well as some foam spacers around the inside, because I think I got it about half a size too big. So I had to size that down a bit. But it fits very well with that on there, and I'm sure if I got this in the correct size like I did with this one, it would fit about the same way. So either way, both fit excellently. I'm very happy with it. Looking at the two hats pinch-wise, front and brim-wise, you can see this one seems a bit tighter than this one does. But that is also due to the age, because this hat I pick up a lot of the times like this. You're not really supposed to pick up fedoras like that, but I do it, or hats like that, but I do it because I want the front pinch to get tighter and feel a bit more worn in. As you can see, that looks nice and overused, whereas this one is still pretty brand new and the pinch isn't as tight. But I bet you the more I hold the hat like this, the more I take it on and off my head like this, the tighter that pinch is going to get. Again, very happy with how this one looks and how this one looks. I think they are both very clearly Raiders fedoras. As for the felt itself, I don't know specifically if this is an age thing, because I seem to remember this hat being quite so floppy when I first got it. But as you can see, that bends fairly easily. This hat is a little less floppy. As you can see, it doesn't quite bend so much. It still bends, but if you take, for example, this hat, you can see about how much that goes down there. The AdVintage hat, I don't know if you can tell, that's a lot more floppy of a hat. I'm about pressing down on it about the same amount here, and you can see it just doesn't, the one from Michael doesn't dip as much as the AdVintage does. So that could be a difference in the felt used, that could be a difference in the age of the hats, but I'm not all that worried about it because, one, again, this is a brand new hat, so a better comparison of the floppiness would be after I've had this hat for a while And two, even if this one doesn't get quite so floppy, it's supposed to be a dress hat. So having a little bit more stiffness to it is perfectly fine in my book. There are some differences with the bows that you can see here. Michael's bow, I call that pretty clean. I think the AdVintage bow is also clean, but you can see it's a bit more noticeable on the back there. The tail end kind of sticking up underneath here. This one, it's kind of more like the front end sticks down a little bit. And so they're both nice bows. I think Michael's is a little bit cleaner than the AdVintage. But that being said, I'm very happy with this hat, with how it turned out. Like I said, it fits very well. The AdVintage hat is still special to me. It is still a primary part of my Indiana Jones outfit. And I'm very happy with this one. But absolutely, I do think that Michael did a phenomenal job, did a wonderful thing when he made this hat. Very happy with it. He's made a couple other indie hats. I say a couple. He's made other indie hats, which is super cool. He's started working on his own Streets of Cairo version, which is absolutely cool. Streets of Cairo is probably my favorite of the Raiders standard adventuring fedora that we have there. Very cool hat, and I am pretty convinced after buying this one from Michael that I'm going to get one of his Streets of Cairo hats one day. As soon as I work up the funds for it, I am totally buying one from him. So Michael, if you're watching this, prepare yourself, man. I am totally gonna grab one of those hats from you. Yeah, super happy with it. Super cool with how this thing turned out. I think it holds up well compared to AdVintage, which again, like I said, is a phenomenal hat, and I've loved this hat for years. I think this hat is going to be just as beloved, and I'm super excited to see how well it holds up in the coming days, weeks, months, and ultimately years. So there's my unboxing and review of this beautiful fedora from Michael Attella. It's absolutely amazing. I'm so pleased with it, and I just can't say enough good about it. Michael, thank you. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for all the work you put in this hat. Everything from talking to me about it to just making sure it's exactly what I wanted. And it's something you can be proud of as well. I'm so happy with it, and I'm definitely coming to you for my next hat purchase. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I pray that you like the content I do going forward on this little fun hobby channel of mine. If you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe to see the future videos. Let me know down in the comments what you thought about this hat, and if you could get a hat from Michael, what hat would it be? Otherwise, that's all I have time for today. I'll see you all in the next one. So I never fully understood how you're supposed to sleep with this thing on. Like, I guess if you do this, it kind of dims things. Maybe you're supposed to tuck it a bit more like this. Maybe you're supposed to fully cover your face. See, I don't know how that's comfortable. How you're supposed to be, how it's supposed to work fully. I don't know.